Hundreds of thousands on my right, thousands by my side. War between good and evil, watching our fists collide. Battle for our freedom now, to the streets we ride. Flags waving all around, pages full of pride. This is where we make a stand, no more give or take. March around the Capitol, storm the city gates. Putting pressure on their necks until the truth breaks. All walls of corruption, take out all the snakes. Star Spangled Banner, got it playing loud and proud. People from all walks of life filling up the crowd. Defend the Constitution, many warriors have vowed. Casting down any among us who have bucked and cowed. Enough with tyranny, we come to take our country back. For all citizens, white, red, brown, or black. Return her to a form of glory, fix the bloody crack on the crown. Fetch it down, it's going down.
My mama told me, yeah, she warned me that this day would come. I'm like my father, go to combat with the blazing guns. I survived that, then I came back to the place I'm from to face off all these haters and the battle in the place I love. You can't break me down, I'm indivisible. You still see my raps if I was invisible. But I'm standing tall, and I spit the truth. So you all appalled, cause you know it's true. They call it freedom cause the fallen troops pay for this. I love this country, doesn't matter how much hate I get. I take my colors in the battle, ain't no wavering. Cause this is for my warriors who marching to the cadences. This is for the sisters working hard on the ship. This is for the brothers getting y'all doctorate. Father, yeah, taking y'all on the ship. Baby, tell me why it's hard for the patriot.
Yo, it's crazy that when I sit back and look, that even within the black community.
Welcome to Plausible Foolishness. Sorry, Foolishness.
Ooh.
I am one of the two kings of the Rube Empire. I'm the Philosopher King, the Ivory Tower, the Mad Scientist Matt, and I've got a perspective on things.
Yeah, you do.
With me, the kick-ass Duke, the producer, the right hand of the kings.
Dusty. Love it. How are you, Matt?
Let's go.
King, Conqueror, the Philosophizer. How are you?
I'm good.
Nice.
No fallacy has ever escaped my justice.
Wait, what? No what? No phallic?
No fallacy. No logical fallacy, you perv.
Logical. Fallacy. I'm phallic fallacy. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, a little confused there.
Nope. I hate you now. And
well, it wouldn't be a show if I didn't make you at least a little bit upset with me.
All right.
That's why I'm named Dusty. It's not
right.
Dusty. It's not Dusty. It's Dusty.
Dusty. It's not Dusty. It's Dusty. So, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Last day of the week for Plausible Foolishness.
Yay! Oh no! Yay! No! Yes.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of
We want it to be Monday through Friday.
that'd be wonderful.
We want this to be a full-time gig.
Yeah.
And we need your help for that. So, if you love the show, help us grow. Share, like, subscribe, put 5-star reviews on iTunes for the podcast. All that stuff that helps us show up in the algorithms and
If you want to take us to
get
the
more
moon,
subscribers.
you got to give us
Yeah.
the boon.
Yes, indeed. Because we want to take this to unseen heights, the highest heights. But there are people who don't want those things for us and for America.
You mean like Biden?
Biden, Pelosi, Kamala, basically anybody with a D next to their name, except for Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, it appears. Apparently, Republicans lined up to shake her hand for standing up for, I don't know, justice. And thank you, Dusty, for paying your voluntary taxes.
20 months in a
for
row.
doing what is expected of you. So, yep.
Well,
20 months.
minus 1 month due to I got banned for a month.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you still technically paid. You still paid. You just created another account to do it.
Yes, I did. How dare I not come on here and pay my rubles?
Yes. Anyway, so the person I'm thinking of more recently is one Don Lemon.
Don Lemon. Sounds French.
Don Lemon of CNN. He's kind of Frenchy. Anyway, he was running his mouth on CNN again, and
as they do
he
on
said this.
CNN.
We have to start doing things for the greater good of society, and not for idiots who think that they can do their own research, or that they are above the law and they can break the rules.
Whose rules?
And then he goes, and then he looks at you. He looks at the camera, and he's like, Australia, Novak Djokovic, and talks about how they kicked him out. Are you familiar with that story?
Vaguely. I'm familiar with the name, and that there's some story involved with it of him being kicked out of the country. Was it?
Yeah, he was deported. So he's a Serbian tennis player, apparently really, really good. He won the Australian Open last year, I believe, and so he was back in Australia to compete and hopefully retain his title.
Good.
And he is not vaccinated, right?
So what?
And he has a medical exemption.
Okay.
Well, in Australia, I mean, come on, we're talking about Australia.
That's a good point.
So, if you're not up to date with what is going on in Australia, it's the gulags. I mean, they might as well be a Russian, a Soviet Union republic,
Granted, it started out as a prison state. It's reverting back to its natural state, isn't it?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, basically, I saw something that said, it's not that that most Australians are descendant from prisoners. It's that most Australians are descended from prison guards. It's like,
Jeez. Oh
yeah,
gosh.
brutal.
That's wow. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so uh, lockdowns and camps and stuff, crap like that.
hmm
Quarantine camps and crap like that is common, and they're doing everything to. I mean, just ridiculous stuff. It's just horrible what's going on in Australia. Pray for them. Pray for their liberty. Pray that their people
Weren't they doing a thing where
wake up and
people couldn't go more than
and
5
do
miles
something
from
about it.
their home or something like that? Or 5
Oh yeah, there's all
kilometers?
kinds of stuff. People got arrested for smuggling KFC into their community because the KFC was outside the boundary for whatever the quarantine restrictions were.
Oh Jesus.
You know, ridiculous crap. There's a video of a guy who's got his mask down because he's got a cup of coffee, and a cop walks up to him and grabs the cup of coffee to make sure there's actually coffee in it because his mask is down. You know, videos of old ladies protesting, and the cops slam them to the ground and start pepper spraying. Like 2 of them are pepper spraying her right in the face. This is an old lady. It's disgusting authoritarian tyranny. There's not a strong enough word for it. You know,
And they're
tyranny
our
doesn't even
ally?
feel strong enough anymore. What's that?
They're supposed to be our ally?
Well, they are actually. Whenever we make up a war to fight, they join us.
Lock, stock, and barrel.
Immediately. Yeah. But then that's the globalist. That's because they're even more globalist than we are.
So
You know.
if you know Australian history, you'll know that there was an interesting war and that Australia lost this war against the kangaroos. Did
Yeah.
you hear about that?
I have heard little bits
Maybe
of that.
the people of Australia need to start aligning themselves with the kangaroos because something about the kangaroos really can't be stopped.
So Djokovic is unvaccinated and he has a medical exemption, and it gets approved by 2 different agencies of the Australian government.
Okay.
Right? But then the premier or whatever, the some government official, I'm not sure if it was the premier. The premier's like a governor.
Yeah.
Of their various provinces. Or if it was like some kind of health minister. I can't remember exactly, but either way, they undo his approval and they deport him not because he had violated anything, or there was anything wrong with the medical exemption he had or anything like that, but just because if they let him stay, it might encourage vaccine hesitancy.
So in other words, he's a fly in the soup.
Yeah, it's bad optics.
Of their perfect soup.
On top of that, the Australian people who are vaccinated have this mentality that you should be vaccinated too. I had to do it. Why shouldn't you should have to do it too? Instead of, you're like the
Why
whole
should I have
mentality
to
of
do it?
you unvaccinated are what's keeping life from going back to normal. When the reality is those tyrant a-holes in power and your compliance with them is what's keeping things from going back to normal. And Don Lemon erroneously compares Djokovic to someone who thinks that they are above the law and that they can break the rules. you know. And some idiots who think they can do their own research. That's the one that gets me. Like, it's bad enough the Djokovic
Yeah.
thing because he's wrong. You know, that was the government just undoing their own approvals because we felt like it, basically, which is egregious. But he don't care about that. It's the
No,
idiots who think that they can do their own research.
because no one's allowed to do their own research. How dare you?
Well,
How
you're a
dare you
fool.
learn
You're
to
a
read?
fool. It's not even that. How dare you? It's you're a fool if you think you can do your own research. F you. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, Don Lemon?
He thinks he's Don Lemon, the
Yeah.
Don Lemon,
You're a
the only
scumbag
Don Lemon.
you're a scumbag on a channel that nobody watches. Up yours.
He thinks he's an elitist.
Yeah, he is an elitist, and he's a scientism, adherent. You know,
Okay.
we plebes, we lessers, the littles.
We have little
We're too
faith.
stupid to do our own research. We need our
Of
betters,
course.
our superiors, in the scientific community, the quote scientific community, not the ones actually doing science, like a Dr. Malone or a Dr. McCullough, not those ones that went on crazy Joe Rogan's shows, the ones actually looking at the stats and the research and doing their own research. No, we're talking about the science, the scientists, like like the Pope of the Holy Science Church, Dr. Fauci, who
Yeah,
claimed
of course.
to be science himself. I am science, he said. These are the people that
Yes.
we need to listen to. They are our betters, and they will tell us what is right and true. Doing your own research is impossible for you lessers. And that, to my very core, that sickens me. This is the mentality of, I mean, this is happening all over the Western world, this mentality.
Yes. Yep.
We talked about it on Tuesday with that one article about the silent vaccinated majority that's losing their patience,
Yes.
Did you see the video of the kids from Quebec?
No.
Okay, so
What kids from Quebec?
So there's a TV. This is a clip from a TV show in Quebec, and they have these, and it's a popular show. It's got it's got adults, and they're interviewing these kids, and asking them what they think about the unvaccinated, and what they should do, and they said their response is, we should call the police on them. And we should slowly take away their rights until they submit and get the vaccine. Kids are saying that in Quebec, Canada.
Yeah, because that's what they're being told to say.
Of course. And the mother's there, and she's like, she's like, no, she's worried that she looks like she indoctrinated her kids. Like she goes, it looks like I've been drilling them.
You have.
Yeah, because you have, clearly.
Stuff like this does not come to children's heads unless it's put there by their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Just like liberty.
And frankly, stuff like what we, just liberty, the same thing. We're doing the same thing with our kids. I can assure you of that.
Yep. I'm raising my kid up to think for himself and not have to be told what to think. Yep. To reason.
Which is dangerous to a regime that wants you to be compliant.
Yeah, it's I'm teaching him how to reason out his own logic. Because
Yes.
If he reasons logically, we're going to end up in the same conclusions. And if not,
yeah,
let's find out where you went.
Yep.
Because guess what?
And yeah, I'm teaching my kids to do both. I'm teaching my kids what I believe and how to come to that how to come to their own conclusions.
Yes.
Simultaneously, you know?
See, when I went, the reason why I came to faith is, one, I was raised in the church. Then I backslid hard and said, enough of this. I don't want anything to do with this. And then I came back to it logically. I thought about it, and it just, I started reading the Bible to prove it wrong, because I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that this is fairy tales. This is comic books. Come on. And then started breaking it down, and guess what? I, among millions, couldn't prove it wrong. Which means, logically, my theory was wrong.
That is true.
Guess what?
That is true.
It changed my mind and changed my heart.
Awesome.
So,
I mean, yeah, this is what we need more of.
Exactly.
You know, less envy and more critical thinking. You know, less greater good nonsense. Whenever the greater good is just bad all the way around.
Anytime you hear anybody saying anything about the greater good, is usually trying to sell you something that isn't good for you or anybody else around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing that the greater good is good for is the person trying to sell it.
Yeah, it's a moral. It's a moral challenge. They're basically accusing you of a moral failing if you don't agree with them. You know, whether or not what they say is right, it has nothing to do with what they're saying being right. Truly, individual liberty is the greater good.
Correct. Usually, if you're ending up into your own liberty, you're ending up helping everyone around you.
Yeah.
By helping yourself.
My liberty is the same as your liberty.
Exactly.
When I'm defending my rights, I'm actually defending everybody's rights.
Yep.
That's just the end of it.
And
there's no.
It's such a communal thing that's such an individual thing. Because when you're protecting your own rights, you're protecting it for everyone, and thus everyone is more free to do whatever feels right for them. As long as it doesn't effectively hurt anybody else. Now, the caveat to that.
The old it was Thomas Jefferson. If it doesn't pick my pocket or break my leg, it's fine.
Exactly.
It's basically the non-aggression principle. I don't aggress on you. You don't aggress on me.
I think we got somebody who's a little paranoid that we're not wearing masks. And we're talking to each other and talking to them. Oh, no.
Yep. Meanwhile, we live in Florida where there is no mask mandate, and we're doing just fine. And so is the rest of the state.
Better than most states.
And frankly, now, a little tongue-in-cheek, I'm getting COVID through the computer. That's fun.
I believe it. Yeah.
I want to play a video that I think encapsulates not just how we feel, but also the
how do we feel?
The American spirit. And I'm going to play it right now.
Constitution starts. A magistrate is a person that operates under authority. They have power. There are higher magistrates and there are lesser magistrates. The founding fathers of this country understood that there's going to come a point in time where the federal government will need to be checked. If not, they will become tyrants. And that is what's happening now. So, the Declaration of Independence says that everyone, by virtue of being a human being, has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The federal government, too, the federal government, their purpose is to protect the rights of those citizens, the rights of us to our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. The third point of that document is if they fail to protect its citizens and enforce those rights, the citizens have a right to revolt. Do you understand? We have a right to resist, and we have an obligation and a duty to do so. Do you understand? Do you understand when it says a duty to step between a tyrannical government and its laws? They are coming for our children. We cannot sit down.
No.
Every great leader knows, every one of them, even the bad ones know, that if you want to affect the country, you go for its children. When in the world do we start using children as bulletproof vests for us?
Yeah.
When in the world do we start testing things on children?
Legal shield.
They come for us first. And when you come for our children, you have started a war. And they have declared war. And we are answering to that war. We are magistrates. And I need you, each one reach one and teach one. Do you understand? As a magistrate in this country, the United States government, our local leaders have to answer to us. The 9th Amendment says that any rights that are not enumerated in the Constitution are reserved for the people.
The people.
I don't want to hear that mandates are not enumerated in the Constitution, because for the fact that it's not enumerated means that that authority and those rights go to us. Every one of these mandates are illegal. Every single
Forgotten amendment.
Yeah. Anything that's not enumerated goes back to us, which means anything that's not written down, we're free to do.
Protect my body. When you want to,
we're free to do it.
Push something into my body.
That's called freedom.
Without my consent, it is rape.
We have the liberty to do what we want if it's not enumerated.
That just says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, and that was out of New York City, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Death Hunter, good to see you again. How you doing?
Hey, there's the Death Hunter. Welcome back.
Yeah, I mean, that came out of New York City. I didn't think that there were people like that still left in New York City. I wasn't even sure that there was people like that ever existed in New York City.
Apparently there's still a few, or they might be converting.
Yeah, that was a pretty decent crowd. I mean, decent enough.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't surprised me.
They haven't moved to Florida or Virginia or
yeah, right.
or Georgia,
Tennessee or Texas.
So cold and plowing.
Warming up from the cold and plowing most of the week, but doing good.
Yeah, I threw my back out yesterday, shoveling my driveway with all the sunshine in it. It just keeps piling up.
So much sunshine. It's brutal. It's brutal.
Yes. Sorry, Death Hunter.
It was chilly. It was chilly the past couple of days, though.
Yeah.
Nice jacket weather.
Yep. And then it warmed right up to a nice 75 degrees.
Yeah, I was sad, though. I like the jacket weather.
It's kind of weird that Florida's one of those states where 40-degree swings from night to day.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
yeah,
go to bed, 38 degrees, wake up, 75 degrees. What?
Yeah. Well, in some places it's even worse, like Arizona or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's like freaking freezing at night. He says, I love living where the air hurts my face. No earthquakes or poisonous animals. Or hurricanes, probably, because that's what we get.
No, but they get tornadoes.
No earthquakes here. Poisonous animals for sure. But plenty of hurricanes.
I can say this. I killed a fair share of rattlesnakes growing up, so there's poisonous snakes up north too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember I was in Pennsylvania visiting my grandpa. We went by a river, and he was standing on a rock, and then I happened to notice that there was a copperhead right underneath his the rock he was standing on. And needless to say, once I told him, he hightailed it out of there. Okay, he's in Maine. But by the time they get to Maine, he says they're not as strong hurricanes.
Yep.
Yeah. Unless you're talking about the football team, and then
they're just as strong.
Yeah. Well, back in the day they were. Sadness. Anyway, so yeah, I agree with just about. I don't think there was a single thing that I disagreed with that woman about.
Yeah.
She nailed it right on the head. And these people are tyrants, and we do have a duty to stand up to them.
And exactly what she said. We said on Tuesday. What was it? We're in a Cold War. We're in a Cold War for our rights of civil liberty.
Yeah, but that war is heating up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like we can't sit on our laurels. We have to recognize that it's heating up really quick.
Did you see what
Orange
Woman?
People are realizing it. That's why you see people. That's why you see them. That's why the FBI is coming out against regular people.
Parents.
Yelling at their school boards.
Yeah.
So it is happening, but it needs to. We can't stop. We have to do more.
Push more.
Because they're going to keep doing more.
Yes.
And frankly, the world around us is doing more. And they're complying. Their people are complying. I mean, that's not entirely true. There's plenty of people protesting in France constantly.
Germany.
They're protesting in Austria. They're protesting in Australia. It is happening. We just don't see it in our media. Our media wants us to think that their entire country is complied, and we should too.
Canada,
because they lie to us
Canada
constantly.
Too.
Yeah, it is happening. It is happening. But at the same time, on Quebec television, the kids are telling us that the unvaccinated should have the police called on them and their rights taken away until they submit. I mean, the kid even said submit.
Yeah. Does he even know what that is?
I mean, he said it in French, but what's that?
Does he even understand what that word means? Or is he just...
Probably not. I mean...
Is he just parroting what he's heard? Which is my guess what he does. Because my kid does that all the time. My kid parrots everything I say. That's why I have to be so careful about what I say and how I say it. If not, it's going to be parroted to somebody nearby or back at me.
Sure. I mean, even if the kid does know, it doesn't matter. He learned it somewhere, and so there's plenty of people who are complying,
Yes.
And there is a strong sentiment in other like there's a strong sentiment, I believe, in this country that I got the vaccine, but that doesn't mean vaccine mandate should be a thing.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that people like Don Lemon are a minority, Yeah, exactly. You're one of those.
Yeah.
In this country, I believe that Don Lemon's a minority. And not for a minority in that along that thought line. Not for the other reason he's a minority. We're not talking about that.
You walked into that one all on your own.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Oops.
I thought it might be important to point out that I I recognize what I was saying. It would be a great out of context clip, though. But
Stop being in a minority.
yeah, exactly. No, but in I believe in other countries, there's a strong sentiment of, I'm vaxxed, you should be vaxxed too.
Why?
What, who do you think you are that you can not get vaxxed?
Why?
Why? And why do they have that mentality?
No. Well, if there's so much of the science, why? Why should you be vaxxed? Originally, when I was getting vaccinated, they were touting the fact that the likelihood of severe illness drops drastically. Well, that's kind of a benefit considering my line of work and what I do for a living. I'm constantly being exposed. So why not? Why not? I'm not saying it was good for everybody. I said I was thinking it was good for me. Afterwards, now I find out, well, it kind of does help you, but not really, and only for about 30 days. And then you can still pass it on. And in other words, I got this for almost nothing.
Yeah, basically.
They kept moving the goalposts farther and farther away from what they originally said it was. And to the point where we're going, well, why in the heck were we having these mandates? Because the thing doesn't work the way they said it was supposed to. Like when you get the chickenpox vaccine, do you get the chickenpox? No. Why? You've got the vaccine. Polio.
Yeah. Now, granted, chickenpox isn't a respiratory virus.
No, it is not.
So, when you get the flu shot, a lot of people do get the flu. But it's a milder version. But they keep talking about efficacy and how efficacy wanes, and so then what was promised at only 2 shots becomes a 3rd booster and a 4th booster, and I think Israel's has a plan for 7 boosters.
Oh my gosh!
I heard the other day. I don't know if that was being facetious or what, but they definitely are well into their 4th, or if not 5th.
All I can think of is Knight Rider. Turbo boost, turbo boost, turbo boost, turbo boost. Hey, we're in season 7. Turbo boost, turbo.
Yeah, exactly.
They got to jump at least 5 cars because jumping the shark.
Hello, Michael.
Turbo boost.
Knight Rider was a great show. Did you ever see the Knight Rider 2000?
Yes.
TV movie?
Yep.
Wasn't that cool?
The fact it was made from a Banshee.
I don't know what a Banshee is.
Pontiac Banshee.
Okay.
It was okay. So
that was like a concept car, right?
It was a concept car that was later the platform design of the Camaro, the later Camaro.
Okay.
Not the new Camaro, but later designed Camaro.
Sweet.
And the last years of the Firebird.
Yeah, so I like that he'd retired and he'd put Kid into a classic car and they were just enjoying their retirement together.
Well,
and then
the whole
gets
reason
into
why
some crap in the car.
The whole reason why I put Kit in the classic car was they scrapped his original body.
Yeah, exactly. And then he gets involved in a thing, and the car ends up in the lake, and they get offered to resurrect it into this this new supercar.
Yeah.
And they had tried to make another Kit, but they were unsuccessful. Kit's Kit's a.
They took all the humanity out of Kit.
Yeah.
In the
and
supercar.
It wasn't working properly.
Yep.
Yeah, and so. Kit was kind of, a one of a kind
AI
thing, just cool.
It's a fun,
super cool and kind of
bad,
stupid.
cheap version of Knight
Yeah,
Rider.
sure.
But
Oh,
Knight
yeah.
Rider was bad, cheap, and corny as all get out.
Sure. Just like all the shows back then.
Yeah, Dukes of
You know?
Hazzard, Airwolf.
Yeah. I
mean,
never watched Airwolf, but
what?
people speak very fondly of it. I didn't even know it existed until I was an adult.
Seriously? Okay.
Yeah,
No.
I'd never heard of it.
Thoroughly enjoyed Airwolf.
It was not on like. It was like it was not on television in Miami. I don't know. It was weird.
It was pretty limited in where it appeared. I was lucky that it appeared on television when I was a kid.
It must have been it.
I would literally watch
It's like
Knight Rider one night, Airwolf the next, and Dukes of Hazzard the next. So it's literally boom, boom, boom. And like I had great programming for about 4 years because they were all overlapping.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway.
Oh, and one of the things, just real
What were you
quick,
talking?
before we get back to that, I always wanted a crossover between Airwolf, Dukes of Hazzard, and Knight Rider. Never happened. Different networks, but still, that's one of the dreams I always wanted.
That would be a weird crossover. Like Airwolf and Knight Rider, I can understand. You know. But how the Dukes of Hazzard get thrown into that, you know.
Jump the Knight Rider. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Well, it would have to take place, like something must be going down in Hazard County, and Knight Rider and Airwolf get involved in it. And it's like the biggest score that Boss Hogg ever attempted or something like that.
Yeah.
And and then the Dukes of Hazzard, you know,
they get involved
in their own way, get involved too.
It's just something I always really wanted.
And Michael Knight ends up getting sweet on Daisy Dukes.
And competing with what was his name from Airwolf? He was a big ladies' man too.
Oh, of course.
And I forget what his name was. Hawk something. You know, of course
Awesome.
It is. Yeah. But yeah, great
Hawk.
show. Yeah, Hawk. And of course you have to have Magnum PI show up somehow. And the Ferrari.
Yep, with that sweet mustache and the Hawaiian shirt.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, the 80s. Gotta love the 80s television. It was so corny and cheesy, but it always left you with a good moral message.
It did. Yeah. Back when the country had morals.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good time.
Anyways,
getting back to what she said about liberty and enumerating the freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not enumerated, we are free to do it. You don't need a law that says you're free to do this. We're one of the few countries where rather than the government appointing freedoms to you, we are free unless specified. Yep.
And now, you know, we can argue about whether or not even that should be. I mean,
come on, anarchist.
There's obviously things that are wrong, you know, murder and theft and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's what we're talking about. And then like the vision of the founding fathers was that the government's job is to protect our rights.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And I mean, if we could get a government that did only that, we'd be pretty free.
Yeah.
You know, that would be a good thing.
It'd be pretty awesome.
Ultimately, no government ever stays that way.
No.
I mean, even in Jefferson's lifetime, they were doing shady things, you know?
Yep. Even Jefferson did some questionable things. So I'm not touting him as perfect by any means.
No.
But
no man is, and that's the point.
But he had
no
some
man is
great
perfect,
ideas. and we should
He did. But I think we
expound
can
on the
take
good
them.
ideas.
I agree. I think we can take them farther
Exactly.
into the realm of, seeing as how no government ever truly remains a defense of our rights.
Hmm.
We should abolish the government altogether. Still questions. I still have questions.
I still have
But
issues.
I am.
It's a little bit farther than I'd be
I
willing to
wanna.
go.
I wanna. I wanna do. I wanna learn more. But
For
yeah.
example,
Anyway.
all right. Say we abolish government. Government's done.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Actually, it just goes back into the war argument. Never mind. We've already debated this.
Yeah. The one for me right now is when you watch. If you haven't watched the 3 doctors on Joe Rogan, do it already. For the love of God.
What's taking you so
There's
long?
so much information that you need to know. You know.
That we
But
should know.
the one with John Abramson, he's less on COVID and more about the drug companies and the way they're run, and like they're just completely unchecked,
Correct.
And I don't see how a government-free society would put them in check,
No.
except that they would have competition in a free market, in a truly free market, that drug companies that weren't unscrupulous bastards would arise to offer actual good products and cures.
You mean
There
like
would be no FDA that to lobby for Pfizer to lobby with and basically fund
yeah.
to keep cures under wraps, so that their drugs to treat symptoms
You mean like chloroquine?
can make them billions. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We wouldn't be in a situation where there was never any effort to establish an early treatment protocol to keep people from going into the hospital.
Thank you. Now
There
you
was
have to spend
never any of that.
hundreds of dollars in order to get this genetic treatment
Mm-hmm.
that, yes, it works, but why does it have to cost hundreds of dollars when you could do other things that cost much, much less that are just as effective?
Are you talking about the monoclonal antibodies?
Yeah.
I mean, and those are a brilliant and amazing thing that came out of Operation Warp Speed.
Yes.
So, that's an awesome thing that came out of this. But then even then, Biden blocks it from distribution. Why? Why? Because it's effective. Maybe. Because there's special interests that don't want it to be out there.
Why is it taking
Probably.
so long for the home tests to come out? And then just before they come out, the CDC goes and says, "Oh, they're not very effective." But that's what we're using to test everybody.
And not just, Death Hunter says it does not fit the narrative to go with cheaper treatments. It's not just that, even. It doesn't make Pfizer and Johnson and Johnson and what was the other one? Moderna billions of dollars.
Yeah.
They've made hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yep.
Off of these vaccines, and they had zero research costs because the government paid for the research.
So it's pure profit.
Normally a drug and a vaccine costs billions of dollars to produce. And so, they hold on to their patents. They basically lie about the effectiveness of the drug. And then they and then they make their billions back. And if it happens to go to a lawsuit because of
Side
I don't
effects.
know, thousands of people died or whatever,
Whatever.
so be it. We'll still have made at least $1 billion of profit. But in the case of the vaccines, they had no startup costs. So this is just pure profit all the way through. Wow. So did you see the pictures of the train robberies?
Yeah. And how they're leaving all the
He's
tests.
saying that they're leaving the home testing kits. That's the only thing they leave. Wow.
Because nobody wants them because they don't work. Like, there's so much anecdotal evidence that shows these tests are ineffective. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
I'm just reading the chat.
And so am I. Like, wait, what's going on? Cool.
I'm not saying. Are we saying the COVID vaccine is ineffective? They've said that the COVID vaccine is less effective than they expected it to be.
Exactly.
And that its efficacy wanes over time. And it's definitely less effective than natural immunity. That's just fact. There's over 140 studies that confirm that. And any virologist will tell you that that's to be expected because our body is just better at doing what it does.
Yeah. Yeah, fighting stuff like this. Otherwise, we would have been wiped out a long time ago by many other diseases.
Yeah, for sure. But on that note, it's come time. You've been watching Plausible Foolishness, the home of the Rube Empire, where the people are free, the taxes are voluntary, and we serve freshly roasted liberal logic every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, Rumble, anywhere you can get a podcast, Instagram, and minds.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Help us grow. And, follow, subscribe. You do all the things. You know what to do. Help us out. Peace out. God bless. Good night.
Someday I would buy galleys with good oars and sails to distant shores. Stand up high in the prow, noble bark I steer, steady course for the havens. Too many foemen, too many foemen, too many foemen.
Tens of thousands on my right, thousands by my side. War between good and evil, watching our fists collide. Battle for our freedom now, to the streets we ride. Flags waving all around, pages full of pride. This is where we make a stand, no more give or take. March around the Capitol, storm the city gates. Putting pressure on their necks until the truth breaks. All walls of corruption, take out all the snakes. Star Spangled Banner got it playing loud and proud. People from all walks of life filling up the crowd. Defend the Constitution, many warriors survived. Casting down any among us who have bucked and cowed. Enough with tyranny, we come to take our country back. For all citizens, white, red, brown, or black. Return her to a form of glory, fix their bloody crack on the crown. Fetch it down, it's going down.
Someday I would buy galleys with good oars and sails to distant shores. Stand up high in the prow, noble bark I steer, steady course for the havens. Too many foemen.
My mama told me, yeah, she warned me that this day would come. I'm like my father, go to combat with the blazing guns. I survived that, then I came back to the place I'm from to face off all these haters and the battle in the place I love. You can't break me down, I'm indivisible. You still see my raps if I was invisible. But I'm standing tall, and I spit the truth. So you all appalled, cause you know it's true. They call it freedom cause the fallen troops pay for this. I love this country, doesn't matter how much hate I get. I take my colors in the battle, ain't no wavering. Cause this is for my warriors who marching to the cadences. This is for the sisters working hard on the ship. This is for the brothers getting y'all doctorate. Father, yeah, taking y'all on the ship. Baby, tell me why it's hard for the patriot.
too many women.
Yo, it's crazy that when I sit back and look, that even within the black community, we have a whole war going on amongst conservatives and others, simply about how we want to move the black community forward.
I saw that on the gram, Snoop made a post, bashing on some black educated folks. Calling them a coon, no it wasn't jokes. Man, you tripping like your foot caught between the spokes. You couldn't hold a light next to Hurricane. Southern Maine with better class and better brains. Out rebuilding our communities and other things. Like making up for all the damage from the dopest slang. Candace O, she's a queen in her own right. Not the type to monetize off her own plight. Working hard for black America day and night. Understand that you're not the only dog in this fight. Terrence K refused to be a product of the system. Bounce around the foster care, no he ain't a victim. You got probation and luckily dies going to prison. Yeah, you believe you had the right to pose criticism? David Harris, I can tell the pain's authentic. He truly cares for the people, meaning all pigment. Your music is the reason why this generation's violent. Another reason why I couldn't stay silent. Miss Staten, she's a G, she did real time. All you do is talk about it, a real crime. But even that can't hold her back while she steady climb the long ladder to success in these troubled times. Tell me what's wrong with Pastor Darrell Scott? You hating on the man, simply how I walk with God. When he supported you when you was Snoop lying. Even when the majority figure Snoop lying. Look, I ain't falling for the tongue in cheek. Your virtual threats, man, they kinda weak. Cause I bet you ain't stepping to the Hodge twins. Just to fight with Shaw loses and Hobbs wins. You hate on Diamond and Silk, Paris Bernard. They support the president and that is regardless of all the hate that they receive. Being loyal is a trait that a dog can't conceive, huh? Funny how you say we work for massa. Hold on to that thought, got some questions wanna ask you. Who's in videos with the chains around the neck? Posing next to Trump, the very man you disrespect. Who's buddy with all the Democrats? The very same party owned slaves in the past. Who's the one seen treating women like the objects? Pushing drugs, alcohol seems pretty obvious. Who became a slave to the game? Traded all your moors for the fame. No more calling names. A real man step into the base. Better ask a Breakfast Club how these facts really taste.
That was good, man. Man, I ain't gonna lie, that's why I like watching you, man, cause you be hitting with the spit in the ass. You know what I'm saying? Nigga like me, I don't even do stats. I got common sense. I just be like, listen, that just don't make no sense, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think, but if I had stats, my God.
Say, look, hey, free Masana for your honor. Left on box and them chains. What was my dog, man? Why that bullet had got lodged in his brain? My mind is insane. A memory card is locked in the game. These optical frames spot ops and leave a block full of pain. Did the impossible, cross the tightrope while dodging the rain. I put these stitches in my Glock, no, I am not finna aim. Swear I got robbed and joined the army, so my spot could remain. One lost his life in North Carolina, hope he not as I sang. Drinking sorrow away on my alky still. For the soldiers we lost on the battlefield. Why am I hurting myself as I bury on belching out death when I'd rather heal? And most of these rappers ain't that for real. They mention the next year they capture me. Talking fly when we push that in vacuum seal. Some of my homies not pushing on that deal. Now it's Ninja put music to dream hours. We been up grinding up teen hours. They ain't believing that team power, then we had to run up 14,000. I thank you all for supporting us. This right here for the voice of the warrior. Victory is a beautiful woman. We went through the rain while in love with Victoria.
Whether they're gonna find a thing, whether wood and a golden frame, I still love, I still love, I still love through the rain. Whether they're gonna find a thing, whether wood and a golden frame, I still love, I still love, I still love through the rain.
Hard to hop off of the plane, just to get back in the trenches. My sister, my brother was slain. And I haven't seen any mentions from social media and networks. So irritated that my head hurts. And when I do, it's only excerpts. Small commentary from the experts. No appreciation for the lives lost. I posted up with the iron cross when the smoke